should not be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame.
145 over 92.
180 over 111.
182 over 100. And I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. And then a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from invisible or silent.
My memory is shot.
When I woke up, I couldn't speak.
I can't button up a shirt. I can't run.
I've had to learn to swallow again.
That's the only moments that I have. And I'm 33, so I never see this coming.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Had I done this, had I done that,
Hell, I messed up.
Get back on your plan, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed. Head to toe.
Page 6 TV's got the most plugged-in insiders in the business. Carlos Greer.
We got this juicy tip earlier this week.
Elizabeth Wagmeister.
I've spoken to ABC, and they are denying this.
Bevy Smith.
I know no one wants to hear this, but it is true.
And John Fugelsang.
We're having what I call Paris Hilton weather. Hot and unpleasant.
It's who's on the inside that counts. Page 6 TV. Weekdays. Check your local listings.
Wednesday on FX, the assassination of Gianni Versace, the compelling follow-up to The People vs. O.J. Simpson, takes the series to another level. Critics call it remarkable, ambitious and rattling, a gripping feast for the eyes. It's Ryan Murphy's masterpiece. Don't miss the first great show of 2018. The Assassination of Gianni Versace. All new Wednesday at 10 on FX.
Our principles, our values, our home.
There's not a country in the world like America.
Mark Levin champions our core principles. Now, he's bringing his dedicated doctrine to the Fox News Channel every weekend. Don't miss the premiere of Life, Liberty, and Levin Sunday on the Fox News Channel.
All right, welcome back to the special edition of Hannity. As always, thank you so much for being with us. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left this evening. Remember, the show will always be fair and balanced. We are not the Destroy Trump media. We hope you set your DVR. Never miss an episode. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Stay tuned. Laura Ingraham coming up next.
Good evening from Washington. I'm Laura Ingraham, and this is the Ingraham Angle. We have big news for you tonight, this Friday night. The Angle is coming up later in the show. You're not going to want to miss it. And then Brexit champion Nigel Farage is going to tell us how to keep this populist conservative movement going strong, especially amidst all the pushback from the left. But first, breaking revelations tonight. It's amazing about the Florida school shooting. As gun control advocates are targeting the NRA, we're going to be finding out more about what actually happened on the ground during that Parkland massacre and how maybe some common sense policing could have made all the difference. Apparently, it wasn't just one deputy on the scene who didn't engage the shooter. According to a new report, there were 4 total sheriff's deputies on the scene who did not enter the building during the shooting. Police say it's too early to make definitive conclusions, but yesterday, the Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said just one person, it was Scott Peterson, who stayed outside instead of trying to stop the suspect. A union rep says that Peterson, who has since resigned, believes he did a good job. Now let's get to the bottom of all this with Jeff Bell. He's the president of Broward Sheriff's Office Deputies Association, who is also a sheriff's deputy himself. It's good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. These new reports that came out, absolutely, the new reports that came out now have a total of 4 sheriff's deputies who did not enter that school building as the shooting was taking place. What do you know about this tonight?
I've heard rumors about that report myself, but I have nothing to substantiate that any of those claims are factual at this time.
Well, Scott Peterson, let's start with him because he has resigned. He was apparently behind a police vehicle with his gun drawn at the time that other officials showed up at the scene. Can you walk us through what protocol is for this type of active shooter situation, Jeff?
Well, for the active shooter, Deputy Peterson being the first officer on scene, he did what he was trained to do at the beginning, for the first minute, responded directly to the area where shots were being fired, called out the location, called in other support units that were arriving for backup. But at that point, he stopped there of what he needed to do. As law enforcement officials, we know that every day when we go to work that there's a chance that we may not come home to our family members. And we accept that responsibility. And when we hear an active shooter, I don't care if it's within a school, a mall, a house, or an office building, when you are the first person there on scene, every second that you delay going into that building and every single gunfire that you hear from inside that building, that means that there's another innocent life being lost. And it's unacceptable not to go inside that building. We know that. What was about to transpire within the next hour in terms of the administrative moves that were going to happen in terms of being suspended without pay. And an internal affairs investigation would start.
Oh, the Coral Springs police are apparently the ones who are talking, and that's why we got this new report about the 3 Broward deputies who showed up and also didn't enter the building. So why would the Coral Springs officers express their frustration if they had entered the building or if this hadn't occurred? Doesn't that, given the fact that we have, again, 17 dead and we have more than a week has transpired, we still don't have the clear tick-tock on what happened? That seems a little much, don't you think, given the public outcry here?
Well, given the public outcry, I can say that there was a lot of chaos on scene that night. I don't doubt the actions this time.
Sheriff Israel basically echoed what you said about how this guy should have, Peterson should have engaged the shooter. You're there, shots are ringing out, you don't stand outside, you go in. And that's like the firefighters at 9/11, they went up in the building when, you know, everybody else was leaving. That's your job, that's what you do. That's the danger of being a police officer. But you actually have made comments about the school board in Broward County, and you lay some blame, frankly, on them for what happened. Explain that to us.
Yes, I do. I think that's the one entity in this whole conversation that has not been brought up is some of the fault that I put on the Broward County School Board. For years, they know that the schools have been soft targets, and they claim that they want to have better police presence inside the schools and they want tougher security, but yet they do not want to cough up the money to pay for that better security and fortify their schools and have better designs. They don't want that. And then when they are fortunate enough to have a school resource deputy on scene, an armed police presence, a lot of the liberal thinking principals that are on campus there, they don't want the police officers making arrests on campus, and they don't want the drugs to be found on campus, and they don't want the warrants to be served on campus because it looks like there's bad stats at the school. So I place a lot of blame on the school board with that and some of the programs that they've initiated with the state attorney and the sheriff's office in the years past. For example, the Promise program. Nobody wants to fill the jails with juveniles. Every police officer will agree on that. So the Promise program is an intervention program where we can stop filling the juvenile jails with kids, and we can get them into some alternative programs. But the problem is, when that program started, we took all discretion away from the law enforcement officers to effect an arrest if we choose to. Now, there's a lot of parents out there that are screaming for help in terms of mental health services.
Well, it seems like that was the case here. I mean, right. Well, we had 23 calls go. $23 calls to one house, and you add that with the FBI tips that they got in 2016 and as early as is in November and apparently another one in February. This is wild stuff. I mean, red flag after red flag after red flag.
It is. They are looking into that right now with those calls, but I can tell you it's not an uncommon thing where we spend 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week that we respond to the same house for the same problem over and over again.
And so what your limitations are what? The only way you can, I mean, you could sit down with Nicholas Cruz, correct? I mean, I imagine he doesn't seem too bright. I imagine you could sit down and just ask him questions. Can I look around? Right? Could I look around? Do you have any guns? Can I see where they are? Can I see where they're stored? That conversation, do you have any idea whether that took place?
I do not have any of that information right now as part of an internal affairs investigation.
Yeah,
it is, but I'm not privileged to comment on that because it's an ongoing investigation that would be violating state statute by commenting on that.
The NRA demonization that's going on right now is unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, they're trying to basically take them off television, kill off all the businesses that, you know, take their ads and so forth, give discounts to NRA members. What's your sense on that?
I firmly believe this is not a gun issue. I've said this from day one, and I'll hold that belief until the day I die. It's not the gun that's the problem. It's the person behind the gun that is the problem. And the problem that we face here today is not going to be a simple fix. And I'm afraid to say that I don't even think that there's going to be an outcome that's going to fix this problem, because until we can link the mental health records into the criminal background checks that we do to purchase a firearm, we're not going to see if a person had a mental health issue. So that has to be resolved with the Medical Association and the HIPAA law violations to release that information.
Well, Sheriff Israel,
that needs to be addressed.
I hear you, but Sheriff Israel yesterday or today said, well, what I think we need to do in America is something different, have less guns. I think he means fewer. Less guns on our streets, not more guns. So he's taken a different view from you. That's the sheriff.
Yeah, he is. He is my boss and he is my sheriff.
Right?
Correct. He is my boss and he is my sheriff, and he does sign my paychecks. But that doesn't mean that I have to have the same opinions as the sheriff does. I think we need to intervene with the people that hold the gun, not the gun itself. So until we address the real problem, which is the mental health issue, and the attitude of the state attorney's office of releasing these people out on the street, nothing's going to change.
Deputy Sheriff Bell, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll be following every aspect of this ongoing investigation. Stay right there, everybody, because we have Michelle Malk and Colonel Allen West. They're going to join us to analyze all these latest developments, the plot to undermine, and I think ultimately, if they could, take down the NRA, and one that seems to be, for the moment, having some effect. Don't go away.
I've got to say, I love the new place.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I took your advice and had Geico help with renter's insurance. It was really easy.
Easy? That'd be nice.
For help with chairs, say chair. For help with bookcases, say bookcase.
Bookcase.
I thought this was the dresser.
Isn't that the bed?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. For help with chairs, say chair.
Does this mean we're not going out?
Bookcase.
See how easy renter's insurance can be at geico.com.
It can detect the threat using AI and respond 60 times faster. It lets you know where your data lives down to the very server. It keeps your insights from prying eyes so they're used by no one else but you. It is the cloud. The IBM cloud. The cloud that's designed for your data. AI ready. Secure to the core. The IBM cloud is the cloud for smarter business.
You won't see these folks at the post office. They have businesses to run. They have passions to pursue. How do they avoid trips to the post office? Stamps.com. Mail letters. Ship packages. All the amazing services of the post office right on your computer. Get a 4-week trial plus $100 in extras, including postage and a digital scale. Go to stamps.com/TV and never go to the post office again.
Thing you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual. individual regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made my pillow machine washable and dryable. I back my pillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota. I personally guarantee that my pillow will be the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.
Call now or go to MyPillow.com. Use this promo code to save over 50% on a MyPillow 4-pack with 2 premium pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Order now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Saturday, Ho was caught covering fake news backed by Russia, plus proof that anyone can be an Olympian, even Greg. Watch him go for gold next, Gutfeld.
Sunday mornings, take an in-depth look at your community. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, a half-hour show dedicated to the important issues.
We're going to instantly see the results.
Driven to bring decision makers together.
I can both probably relate to that.
And committed to elevating discussion and debate. Your community, your state, your show.
If people are talking about it, so are we.
In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum Sports.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. For the perfect tile job, start with PermaBase cement board underlayment. A half-inch thick 3x5 board is $7.90 after 11% off. Protect your wood projects with Minwax Polycrylic Protective Finish. It dries quickly, leaving a crystal clear finish. A gallon is $35.59 after 11% off. Stop waiting and start saving with 11% off on everything. Now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Companies targeted by that left-wing website Think Progress are rapidly dropping ties with the National Rifle Association. The list of companies ending discounts for NRA members already includes MetLife, Hertz, Enterprise, Alamo, Symantec, and First National Bank of Omaha. Well, this comes after more than a week of liberals and students blaming the NRA for school shootings.
Any politician on either side who is taking money from the NRA is responsible for events like this.
The NRA does not win in the chat room. It wins in the cloakroom of state legislatures and the national government. Unless we get bags of money and bags of votes to pull these people the other way, we're going to lose.
We got to take on the NRA.
Let's discuss this with conservative Review Television host Michelle Malkin in Colorado Springs and Fox News contributor Colonel Allen West in New York. It's great to see both of you. Michelle, look, you're on CRTV, and you and I have dealt with this issue for years, where the left loses the debates on substance, and so they go for banning speech. And now they're doing this with the NRA. What say you?
That's right. And this tactic people who are responsible for these witch hunts are inciting hatred and violence. And you know, the thing is that so many conservatives always act in good faith, and they don't want to engage in these kinds of tactics.
Well,
if they do, they are afraid, and I understand that. But enough is enough.
Colonel West, you saw that student, Mr. Caskey. He was obviously very upset. You saw this play out at that CNN forum, the town hall forum, about guns, where the students were, you know, Marco Rubio, I see your face down the barrel of a gun. I mean, it was over and over and over and over, and blood money. It was all the classic lines against the NRA we've heard many times. But at this point, it seems different. It seems like the organization is very tight here. And what do conservatives do to respond? I mean, they could respond in kind, right, with their own boycotts, which I'm not really for, but their own boycotts of Alamo, Hertz, and so forth. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Well, it's good to be with you, Laura. And first and foremost, everyone needs to know in full disclosure, I am a sitting board member
for the National Rifle Association. And so when I think about what Think Progress did just a week ago, saying that the NRA gave $10,000 to train Nicholas Cruz in firearm instruction, that was a false story, and the New York Daily News repeated it. The NRA stands for supporting youth shooting sports, and the high school junior ROTC team there at Stoneman Douglas High School, which it was in the district that I represented, it was to support their shooting sports team, their marksmanship team, who used Kevlar mats to shield a lot of those students. Some of those cadets did. And when I think about Enterprise and some of these other companies, we don't see anyone going out and attacking beer wholesalers or alcohol distributors when we have deaths due to DUIs and things of this nature. And to that student that assaulted, verbally assaulted Senator Marco Rubio. What about Planned Parenthood? The $568.7 million that they get as an abortion provider, and that's blood money. But what really incenses me more than anything else, no one in the United States of America remembers the name Stephen Williford. Stephen Williford is an NRA member. He is also an NRA-trained firearms instructor, and he was the one that ran to the sound of the guns in Sutherland Springs, Texas, at the First Baptist Church, and he was the one that took down that assailant. And no one is talking about that. But yet we have the Broward Sheriff's officers who did not run to the sound of the gun. So I don't think the NRA should be demonized.
It's unbelievable what we learned tonight, guys, about the poor Coral Springs police officers. They arrived. The Broward deputies, again, according to these reports, we'll see what ultimately is concluded, were behind their vehicles, and they told the Coral Springs police, you go in. I was like, oh, okay, you go in. And so they did go in. But, I mean, there was red flag missed. It seems like there was mistakes made on the ground. The guy was obviously a mess. Tips that he was going to shoot up a school, at least a few tips that he was going to shoot up a school. Nothing. So, and it's the NRA's fault? I mean, this is my... I got to go to the CNN forum. And, Michelle, I want you to react to this. We had Andrew Klein on our show last night. He's a father of daughter Ariana Klein. She's a survivor of the shooting. She was at the White House the other day. He was called by CNN shortly after the shooting. This is how he described it. Let's listen.
I actually spoke to a CNN producer on Thursday, the day after the shooting, and the producer insinuated to me they were looking for people who were willing to espouse a certain narrative, which was taking the tragedy and turning it into a policy debate.
And by the way, Jake Tapper tweeted in response from CNN, this is so dishonest. The student said her question was for Dana. That's why I said that. He's talking about that kid who said he was, they tried to script him. Read the transcript, and no, nothing was scripted, but people submit questions. We go to them expecting they'll ask the questions they submitted, which they're holding. So that was his tweet. Yeah. Michelle, your reaction to this. I know you've written columns about CNN's games that they played in years past.
I have, and I've been a longtime chronicler of how CNN has used these so-called citizen town halls to forge Democrat talking points. And these are not journalistic exercises. These are partisan political ones. In the past, they have tried to pass off as quote-unquote undecided voters, people who were working for various Democratic political campaigns or Democratic office holders. It is no surprise. And I think it's interesting because on the one hand, the left is always saying, believe the children, listen to the children. But when certain children and their parents are telling the truth about the manipulation of this fake news, all of a sudden they are subject to this kind of criticism from the likes of Jake Tapper, who really is a disgrace. He abdicated his journalistic responsibility, and now we are finding out more and more. What did this Sheriff Israel know when he was sitting on the stage mauling Marco Rubio and Dana Lash like lions in the den? And, you know, it is the collusion, I believe, between the social justice administrators of that school district who adopted radical liberal alternative conflict resolution policies, all for the cause of political correctness, and eradicating the fact that there were percentages of minority students. So rather than adjudicate anyone, they adjudicated no one, and that's how Nicholas Cruz got away with it.
All right, guys, the Manafort Gates, we had Rick Gates plead guilty today. The Mueller investigation, there's big pressure going to be put on Manafort, Paul Manafort, to also plead guilty. Squeeze is on. Colonel West, we got about 20 seconds. Your reaction to that?
Well, first of all, I want to say that Sheriff Scott Israel should step down. There's no way that he did not know what happened reviewing that surveillance video last week, Wednesday. Now, get into the Manafort Gates issue. This is Robert Mueller acting way outside the boundaries and the scope. The only collusion has been with Christopher Steele, Fusion GPS, the Hillary Clinton campaign, and DNC. That's where he should be looking.
All right, guys, great panel as always. And up next in the Trump agenda going, the populist movement here and across the globe. Don't go away.
Two unique crossovers, the roomy Mitsubishi Outlander and the adventurous Outlander Sport, both part of America's safest CUV family. Get $3,500 cash back or 0% APR for 84 months, plus $500 cash back.
When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Smoothies. It starts dissolving the instant it touches your tongue and neutralizes stomach acid at the source. Smoothies, only from Tums.
Nothing ruins your natural night vision faster than glaring light, and that can be deadly in a dangerous situation. Nick Bolton here with the solution. We call them Night Vision Tack Glasses. Inspired by the glasses worn by elite military units, Night Vision Tack Glasses block blinding glare so well, invisible objects suddenly become visible, so you can see clearly when it matters the most. Look, high-intensity glare ruins your night vision by causing your pupils to overcompensate, but Night Vision Tack Glasses have an anti-reflective coating and a special tint that help protect your natural night vision. Soldiers have to use lenses like these because missing even a small detail can be deadly in a tactical situation. But you don't have to be in a war zone to face a life-threatening moment. Night Vision Tack Glasses improve optical clarity to reveal important hidden details. And they're not just for driving. You can use them anytime visibility is poor to shield your eyes and sharpen your vision. Plus, like all of our products, these are what I call military tough. They can even survive the harshest conditions. And the polymer frames can flex and bend without breaking. So get yourself a pair of Night Vision Tack Glasses. There's just nothing like them on the market today.
Act now to get your Night Vision Tack Glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship them to you free. Inspired by the glasses worn by elite military units, they're built to flex and bend and survive even the harshest conditions. Plus, they're the only glasses that feature the precision and quality of genuine Bell & Howell lenses, backed by our lifetime guarantee. You can get these amazing Night Vision Tack Glasses with free shipping for this special TV price. But supplies are limited, so don't delay. Call or click to get yours today.
To get your Night Vision Tack Glasses for only $19.99 with free shipping, call 1-800-313-4501. That's 1-800-313-4501, or visit us online at tacknight.com. That's 1-800-313-4501, or visit us online at tacknight.com.
Now, best of all, the call and information are free. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential, explaining every step of the invention process. We create professional materials and submit them to companies who are looking for new ideas in your category. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review new ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We offer 3D modeling and animation, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to present client ideas to additional companies. Join people just like you who made the call to InventHelp. You have nothing to lose. The call and the information are free. Call now.
Call 1-800-520-7097. That's 1-800-520-7097.
If a man really wants to protect what's his, he has to do it for himself.
The men who did this are out there. I'm gonna hunt them down.
It is 100% American made.
I'll say. So you're not gonna kill me? No, Jack is.
Death Wish, rated R.
CPAC, the president rallied the conservative faithful and urged them not to let up as the midterm elections approach.
Don't be complacent. Okay, don't be complacent, because if they get in, they will repeal your tax cuts. They will put judges in that you wouldn't believe. They'll take away your Second Amendment, which we will never allow to happen.
Judges matter. Let's take gun legislation. Now, even if the president and the Republican Congress are successful in pressing his agenda, life-tenured judges with radical outlooks can undo it all. And that applies to a whole host of issues. And this is why it's so critical for President Trump to nominate and see confirmed as many judges as possible on both the district courts and the appellate courts. Now, since Trump took office, check this out, major initiatives have been stalled or stopped altogether by the courts, including his travel ban on some majority Muslim countries, his plans to withhold federal funds from those sanctuary cities, his plan to rescind the DACA program, and just yesterday, his plan to end Obama-era oil and gas emission regs. And let's not forget the ban on transgender people in the military, serving in the military. So during just his first 9 months in office, cities or states filed 24 lawsuits against the president. According to Reuters, Obama was not subjected to similar lawsuits during the same time period. Now, a few weeks ago, New York District Court Judge Nicholas Garofis, he was a Clinton appointee, blocked President Trump's decision to end Obama's DACA program. He's the second federal judge to do so. Now, Judge Nick Garofis is an interesting character. When the DACA case landed on his bench last year, he reacted like an MSNBC pundit. He claimed that the president ending the DACA program was, quote, arbitrary and capricious. Gracias, Judge Luis Gutierrez. This judge has a history of editorializing from the bench. And of course, it ends up being like legislating from the bench. Americans didn't elect Judge Garofis to change our immigration policy. Certainly not the authority of the executive to enact sensible immigration regulations. He was appointed to be a check on other branches of government, not a replacement for them. So if Judge Garofis wants to get into legislating, from minorities who failed the department's entrance exams. Now, declaring the fire department a, quote, bastion of white male privilege, Judge Garofis required the department to hire 2 black firefighters and 1 Hispanic